Hello, everyone. This is Noor from the IB Odyssey podcast, and today we're going to be discussing something very important, in my opinion. I think because it's already April, already like halfway through April, the exams for DP M24 are happening next week, so this is maybe a little late, but a lot of people have their exams in May basically, so I kind of want to get this episode out there about the one and only most important and most tedious thing, which is how to cope with exam stress and exam anxiety. Today, we're going to be discussing 14 different tips on how you can manage your stress and your anxiety in order to perform better. Because I've been through this myself. I've had my friends go through this situation where you know the topic very well, you know how to answer the questions and everything, but the main issue is that when you're in the exam hall or when you're in that exam official setting, you tend to get really anxious. A lot of people won't finish their exam on time, or they'll, blank out because they're like, oh my god, this is going to the IB. This year we have M24 for both the e-assessments for the MYP 5 students and for DP2 students. So basically, I think that this is going to be very helpful for people because exam anxiety, exam stress is a very real thing and it affects people's performances. Because a lot of my friends, like I was saying, they're really, really smart, and you can see that from their quizzes, their class participation, everything. But when it comes to their exams, you'll be like, wait, what happened there? Like, why'd you get like a 5? Aren't you like a level 7 student? And this is because exams for some people are really hard to cope with, just with the tediousness of, oh my god, I have like 6 or 8 subjects and I need to do well in them and stuff like that. Can be something very tedious, especially before the exam starts or while you're giving an exam. So I think I have stretched out the intro quite a lot, so let's just get to the main point. Tip number 1, prepare in advance. So one of the best ways to reduce your anxiety is to be well prepared. You should start studying early and also create a studying schedule to help you cover all the material. In DP, you're required to take 6 subjects, and in MYP, I think it's about 5 or so. I think so, maybe. If you have your government saying you need to take your country's history as a compulsory subject, then you might have a bit more because it just gets add up, but that doesn't really go to the IB. Wait, what am I even saying at this point? Never mind, I confused it with the CIA exams, never mind. But how many subjects are there in MYP? You have 1 to 2 science, or if you want to go into medical, you have 3. You have INS, you have IDU, or you have history, geography, and then you have English and math. So you get up to about 6-7 subjects, which is also very tedious, with of course 2 projects. So just prepare as soon as you can start. I would say even just a month before the exam is too late. Start 2-3 months in prior. Tip number 2, break your tasks into smaller steps. So you should break your steps down and your study material into smaller chunks so that you can manage these chunks and make it feel less overwhelming. I saw this tip, which I also discussed in a previous episode. You should only do 5 tasks in one day. Obviously, don't make them so big that, I should get my whole extended essay first draft done. Not like that, but for example, you want to practice, let's say you're an MYP and take individuals and society. The last section is a 24-mark question, and you want to practice that. One of the tasks could be to practice that and time yourself, or one of those could be if you take physics to, revise a particular concept that you think you're struggling in. So something like this with only 5 things per day is going to help you be more productive, because when you see only 5 things on your list, you'll be like, okay, I can do this, and you'll be more productive and more motivated to do those things. Because if you have 15 things to do in one day, you will obviously be more overwhelmed. And there's this psychological thing that when you have a to-do list, and when you are done with something and you tick it off, it just kind of motivates you more, makes you feel better about yourself in a way. So I think this would be such an awesome when I say it like that, but it would be such a great way of just making sure you're not overwhelming yourself, especially because how they say time is money. Like in this case, maybe not money, but time is very precious. Okay, tip number 3, practice relaxation techniques. This is so important. And this isn't just, you should do meditations. Isn't just, it goes deeper than that. You can use techniques such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, mindfulness meditation, and you can also calm your mind and reduce anxiety. You should practice these regularly, not just when you're feeling stressed, because once you're in that mindset, it'll just help you. Once it's like a routine, it's going to become a routine, so it'll help you cope better with something. There are a lot of apps that can help you. There's a Calm app that can help you. There are breathing apps. If you have a smartwatch, you can, for example, the Apple Watch has this breathing feature which you can use. So it helps you breathe and do breathing exercises. You can also go on YouTube, search for breathing videos, so that they can also help you as well to manage your stress and your anxiety. So I will say that is such a great way of starting off. Tip number 4, exercise regularly. Now, I know it's very hard to exercise, especially during exam seasons. Even I quit during exam seasons, but it doesn't need to be like going to the gym. It can also mean, physical activity. It's like a great way to relieve your stress and to also improve your mood. Even a short walk or stretching can make a difference, because it releases happy chemicals in your mind, and it also helps with blood circulation. And a lot of people, when they exercise and when they study, they understand the material much better, because it kind of freshens your mind. Like, you work out, then you take like a shower, then you relax for a bit, and then once you get to the studying, it helps you, just get into that mindset, and it just helps you think more clearly. So try to exercise regularly. It's good for your health as well. Maybe just like a 20-30 minute walk would be really good as well. Now, number 5, get plenty of sleep. For all of you caffeine addicts, put the caffeine down, because it only triggers anxiety. And yes, unfortunately, you're gonna need a lot of caffeine if you're doing the IB program. But aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, especially during exam times. The day before you have an exam, make sure you sleep 7 to 8 or 7 to 9 hours, because sleep is crucial for your cognitive function and emotional well-being. I'm not joking. Once a friend of mine said to me, if you go to an exam and you know nothing, but you slept well, you will literally have confidence to put something down there, because your mind will actually be functioning and you'll actually be able to think straight and make up something. Well, you should definitely prepare. That was more of an exaggeration, but the sleep is something you can't compromise. And I know a lot of people will be like, it's not easy to say that. It's more important to, at the end of the day, your grades don't define you, not in my opinion at least. A lot of people have a lot more potential than to be to be the topper in your class. Like, that doesn't matter necessarily, because that doesn't necessarily define the life ahead. It might define the college you go to or something. But at the end of the day, if you're really talented for something, and if you have, if you play your cards right in life, you'll get to the place where you want to. So education is very important to inform yourself, but don't let your grades define you. They're only a fraction, not even a fraction of the person you are. So I think that you should definitely, prioritize your own well-being. And by that, you should do the best that you can and let that be. Because if you won't sleep, if you're going to be, eating junk food or drinking a lot of caffeine, you're not taking care of your mind or your body. Hence, it's not going to support you when you really need it. So please don't become a caffeine addiction person addict, because I've been through that route. Like 2 years ago for my finals, I had no sleep that whole week. I had like 3 hours of sleep every day, and then I remember the day of the last exam, I slept for 14 hours after the exam because I was so just burnt out and just surviving on caffeine. And like, it works for people, but I feel like at the end it's just not worth it. So please prioritize yourself. Next question, why do I keep saying question? Next tip is something correlated to this, which is eat healthily. You should fuel your body and your brain with nutritious food and avoid excessive caffeine and excessive sugar, because they risk anxiety to increase. They literally trigger your anxiety. That's why whenever, be it not even about school, if it's a personal matter or whatever, just don't drink caffeine or indulge in sugary foods, because it's going to trigger your anxiety even further. And I think I've already spoken a lot about this, so I'm just going to move on to tip number 7, which is keep track of important dates, stay organized basically, and make sure you're meeting your deadlines to avoid any last-minute cramming, which can increase stress. Because there's a lot of memes that when you're studying for your finals, you're not even recalling, you're straight up not memorizing, you're straight up, I'm sick, I'm sorry, you're straight up just learning new information. And that is something that happens quite a lot. It's happened with me. But I think when it comes to external exams especially, because again, not to scare anyone, but I mean, it is very scary that the stuff is going on your transcript, and this is being assessed by the IB officially. So you really need to make sure you're on the top of your game and stay organized, because if you lose up on your own track, you're just going to kind of face through the consequences. So it's better to just start early, so even if some time is missed, you wouldn't lose a lot of the time that you are already at risk with. Number 8, seek support. Talk to your friends, your family, or trusted teacher or your counselor about your feelings. Sometimes simply just expressing your worries can help resolve them in a way. Maybe because someone's going through something you're going through, you'll feel comfort in knowing that, they're also going through this exam anxiety, they're also suffering through this, and they can suggest ways that can also help you cope better. Of course, just because something works for someone doesn't mean it'll work for someone else, but it's worth a shot at least. Having a support system in any matter, not just educational matters, is very important. That can be your friends, your family, just like we just said right now. But definitely reach out when you feel like, I think I'm burning out, or this is getting a bit too overwhelming for me, because at the end of the day, we're all human. And people who are giving the MYP5 exams, they're 15, 16, and people who are giving the DP exams, the DP2 exams, they're 17, 18. We're all so young in age that it can be very daunting on us that, oh my god, this is going on my transcript, this is like official IB, externally examined exams. This is going to determine my college, my future outcome, next 4 years of my life. Like, it's all very overwhelming. But trust me, once you get through it, once you're at the other side of the tunnel, you will feel better. But you still have to go through the tunnel. So make sure you're around people who are good for you mentally. Next up, tip number 9 is practice relaxation exercises. This is incorporating relaxation exercise into your daily routine, such as deep breathing. Wait, I think I did just speak about this. Yeah, progressive muscle relaxation and visualization techniques. Even though I did already speak about it, I feel like it still needs emphasis nonetheless, because once you're definitely taking care of yourself, and there's this thing where there's a difference between a distraction and a coping mechanism. You should definitely search up for what you think could be a better coping mechanism for you and not just a distraction. Because when you feel stressed because of exams, you go to Instagram or TikTok or YouTube and watch reels and videos, and then be like, oh my god, I'm wasting so much time and my anxiety is still there. But a coping mechanism could be, of course it depends on what it is for you, but it'll help you feel less overwhelmed and eventually get to the task. So this is also something that's very important. Next up is tip number 10, which is limit distractions. Find a quiet, comfortable place to study where you can focus without any interruptions. Turn off your notifications, turn on D&D, turn off your phone even, or your computer if you're not necessarily using those and using textbooks or whatever. And, this is going to help you minimize distractions. You can go to a library, which is a formal setting that is meant to be quiet. Just because, there are going to be other people quietly studying there, it'll kind of put you in the headspace to study as well. There's a psychology hack or fact that you can't study or work in your bed, because once you're in your bed, you have a mindset of more chilling, relaxing, and that's not the mindset you need when you're, studying or doing something that's work related. That's why you should get up. If you have a study desk, study there. If you have a dining table, even, it's basically a chair and a table. You need to, fix your posture and to really put you in that mental setting. So do get out of the bed, because I know for a lot of people, they can't study in the bed without distracting themselves, but that's not the case for everyone. So for the people who do think that, man, I just end up taking a nap after studying maths for 5 minutes, I reward myself a 2-hour long break after working for 20 minutes. For all those people out there, make sure you're not in your bed, because otherwise you probably will end up wasting a lot of time. Okay, next up, tip number 11, staying positive. So challenge your negative thoughts and replace them with more positive and definitely more realistic ones. Remind yourself of your strengths and your past successes. There's a thing that there's toxic positivity, which is you can do anything for sure. And it's maybe you can do a lot of things, but there's still a lot that we can't because of our capabilities. I just know I couldn't climb Mount Everest. I could train for it, but I just know that I don't think I'm the person who could do it. Well, to be fair, I have I have some health issues, so they will kind of enable me from doing that. So what I'm trying to say is, there are things we can do academically in personal life, and there are things that we can't, unfortunately. But it's best to make the most of it. And it's best to remind yourself that just because, for example, maths, you're not good at maths and you don't think you're going to get higher than a level 5, just know that you are working for it, and even if you don't get it, it's okay. Because even though, yes, your grades do matter for universities and stuff, but at the end of the day, you put in all the effort you could, and that's all that should matter. So you should always remind yourself of your strengths and your past successes, because it's important to know that you are worthy of feeling good about yourself. A grade shouldn't define your self-worth, and that is a very, very important thing. Next up is taking breaks. Don't forget to take regular breaks during study sessions, and overworking yourself can lead to burnout and increased anxiety, especially if you have a deadly DP combination for subjects such as physics, chemistry, and maths at HL or 3 sciences because you want to go into medical. Then it is so important to not burn yourself out, because literally yesterday my friends and I were talking about one of our seniors who burnt out so much by the end, and the teachers would tell us oh, he was burning out because he was just so deep into his books, and he got a great result in the end. But just because somebody did get a great result doesn't mean you will either necessarily, and that's not a bad thing. That's not saying that you're not worthy of it or you can't work for it, but it's more about everyone needs a personalized break and a personalized study schedule and routine that is more efficient with their strengths and their weaknesses. That's why you should figure that out, because I can't tell you, oh, study for 40 minutes, break for 20 hours. Not 20 hours, 20 minutes. I would love the 20 hours break thing. But again, it has to be based on totally what works for you as a person, based on who you are and what your habits are. So do try to figure that out, and also, kind of discover yourself in the process. Okay, tip number 13, our second last tip, which is use visualization. Imagine yourself successfully completing the exam and handling any challenges that come your way. Visualizing the success can help build your confidence and reduce your anxiety. It can also be a motivator because, for example, you want to maybe get a level 7 in your English exam, which is very, very hard, because English, especially in DP English A language and literature is so hard. But let's say you want to visualize yourself getting your results, and then you see a level 7 there. It's like it will motivate you to work efficiently, productively, not necessarily work hard, but work hard and also be productive with it, so that you can actually bag that result. So it might not work for everyone. For some people, it actually can demotivate them, because they'll be like, man, I'm never gonna get that level 7 English. I suck at English. It can go either ways, but you should at least try to think positively and try to motivate yourself, because studying without any motivation is so hard, and I've been there. So definitely try not to go too hard on yourself, because with practice things get better, and honestly that saying is so true. Now, our last tip: seek professional help if needed. And I know this might sound a bit severe, but hear me out. If your anxiety is severe and it's interfering with your daily life, you should consider seeking help from mental health professional. They can provide you support and teach you additional coping strategies. And there is a stigma around mental health, and I really want my podcast to not follow that. I really want people to find this podcast as like a resource for them, but also a safe space when listening to it, because a lot of people do find it really hard to acknowledge the fact that they're having issues studying. A lot of people go to psychologists who are trained, and they go and ask if they have maybe mental health disorders such as ADHD or something that could be enabling them from working to their best potential. Or it could be an issue that they might have. Some people have dyslexia, etc. And there's literally nothing wrong with having any mental or physical health issues, but there is always a way to go around it so it doesn't interfere with your life so much so. And that can also be with like anxiety disorders. So it is best to go to someone who is trained. This can also be your school counselor. A lot of schools have school student well-being departments. You can go to them and ask them to help you out a bit. You can do online research. But one thing I want to say about online research when it comes to anything that's psychological is that a lot of people tend to diagnose themselves that, oh yeah, I have ADHD, just because they saw like few symptoms, they relate to it. A lot of people think that, and the thing is, you might think of ADHD, but you might have a generalized anxiety disorder instead. So you might be treating yourself for what you think is ADHD, but it won't be effective because you aren't trained in that. And even if you take DPHM psychology, you're still not, a trained psychologist. Hey, maybe go to your psychology teacher if you feel comfortable. Go to somebody, a friend, a family member, a parental or basically guardian figure, preferably, just because they could help you out a bit more because they are your guardian or your parent. But just going to anyone initially to have the discussion that I feel like I'm really going through a lot of anxiety or a lot of stress, I just don't know how to cope with it, that can also really help step a foot into the right direction for not just your academics, but also for your own mental well-being. So I really hope that if you find you have an issue, that you can go and talk to people about it. So this was the last tip. And one thing I want to say is that, remember, it's normal to feel stressed before exams. But with the right strategies and with the right support, you can always manage your anxiety effectively. If you guys have any issues, I really hope you reach out to your friends and your family. And I'm not gonna make this longer than it is already. I hope you guys could find this as a very useful podcast episode, because I feel like this is something that's very important and needs to be discussed. So yeah, I hope you guys have amazing exams. For people who have external exams and for people who have internal exams, good luck, all the very best, and don't stress about it too much. I hope you're going to use one of these 14 strategies to implement in your life regularly to see better results. And yeah, with that, go study effectively, and all the best. Bye bye.